a part 2 of me trying to use up all that yarn on the top shelf.
And I actually did have some yarn that wasn't on that top shelf because it was already set aside for a project. So I had, let's see, the Baby Bee Sweet Delight, and I have the one in the color Angel, and also in Woodland Elderberry. Hopefully you can see that. But I have 3 of these and then 2 of these, and the plan was to make a 6-day star blanket. So I did start that, let's see, Sunday. Yesterday was Monday, and I worked quite a bit more on it. And then today is now Tuesday, and I haven't crocheted anything yet today. It's only now 9 o'clock, so, you know, I still have plenty of time. This is the progress I've made so far. And I actually had frogged it. I had done the first 9 rounds, and then I think I don't think I did the last yarn crochet round. Did the first 8 rounds, and the middle was just looking wonky to me, and it's still slightly is poofy. And I don't understand why. If I was increasing my hook size for it, why the middle would look funny. Is it because I increased the hook size, or did I not increase it soon enough? So, because it wasn't curling, and she said if it starts curling, that's when you do it. I'm like, it's not curling, so why? And I did end up changing it the first time I did. I think I was using a 4mm or 4.5, and I switched it to a 5, and it was just like, no. So I undid that. This is all in 5.5, and I don't think, even if it permanently stays poked out slightly, I don't think it's bad enough. But I wonder if maybe I should have increased my crochet hook sooner. Maybe that would have helped. I don't know. It wasn't curling, so I don't know why. Anywho, the colors are absolutely beautiful. I'm doing thicker stripes, so there's fortunately going to be less ends to weave in than if I was changing every 2 to 3 rounds or so. But yeah, I'm just going to be working on this. I also made some progress since I last showed you. I mean, I have some clips that I'll probably go ahead and insert of the checkered tank top. All right, and a quick little update on the checkered tank top. This is how it's coming. I calculated, so I did a row the other night, and I just kind of recorded, I say row, round, and I just recorded how long it took me to finish it, and it took me right about 20 minutes. And based on that, it takes 5 rounds to make a full square, so I calculated like 1 hour 40 minutes per square. But then also the very beginning one, at least the first 2-3 rounds took very long, especially the first one. The first setup one just took absolutely forever. Anyways, not looking forward to that for the next one, but this is my progress. So just know that each of these squares represents like 1 hour 40 minutes of work. This thing takes a while. You just got to keep going. But fortunately, I have finally kind of reached my rhythm for, you know, crocheting, changing the colors and everything. And I will say, probably the fact that I do change colors, even though it's an extra step and everything, it does make the pattern more interesting than if I was just doing double crochets all in the same color. So I can't wait till this is finished. I tried figuring out like potentially how many I would need. So I think about 6 squares for the body would be long enough. And then I plan also to add some more squares up here because I don't want it to be this low. So I plan on just adding some more squares, probably like 1 or so, and then doing the straps off of that. So gotten even more done. So originally I thought I could just do 6 checkers and that would be enough before I started doing the extra little bit on the top and then the straps. But alas, no, it's looking like it's gonna need 8 and I only have 5 plus 1 round. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. I'm kind of taking a short break from this because I'm getting a little bit tired. I mean, once I'm doing it, it's fine, but also I need some quick, you know, projects, some things that move faster and I can actually feel progress, like this blanket. The majority of the center part in the white was pretty much done. I think I did all of that on Sunday or most of it up until like maybe here or so. And then the rest of it I did yesterday. So, and I can see a lot of progress with that. But this one, I also tried it on, and I wish I had done 2 more squares. And what was funny was I was thinking, you know, it might actually already be too many squares, but no, because I have the yarn running underneath, it doesn't stretch out as much as crochet normally would. So whenever I tried it on, it was actually a little bit fitted around the chest area. So it's like, well, you know, and now I have some strands that are just like, eh. They just kind of got pulled and they're sticking out a little bit. I don't know if you can see that very well, but I can. You can see better this way. You can see there's a little bit of yellow sticking out right there. Anyways, that's just me being picky. But it does make me kind of wonder if there's, you know, a better way to be doing the squares that doesn't have it running under and doesn't have me cutting it off all the time. So, and for this video, I'm going to be doing how much can I crochet in 24 hours challenge. So I will show you my progress on things that I've already worked on. Also, just look at this little bag right here. This I made. I was able to use up some yarn that I didn't really have an idea of what to do with to make this. And then I made my sister a purple bag as well, but hers was plain white on the bottom, a mixture of purple white in the middle, and then just white on the top. And it looked really pretty. I'm gonna go see if she has it over by her bed, but she may have taken it with her to work, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm fortunate she left it at home. So here is that second one. I didn't actually need to. I was just really feeling like I wanted to make another bag like this. So I did. And then I gave it to her. One of my other sisters is actually slightly upset because she had wanted it too. Yeah, maybe I'll make some bags for Christmas. I don't know. Let's see. So for that 24-hour challenge, I'm going to attempt to finish this blanket. I will basically be making the blanket till I run out of yarn. So like I said before, I have 3 of these and then 2 of the white ones, and I'm just going to be making it till there's none left. However big that gets to be, it might just be baby blanket size. But then I also wanted to make a sweater like the one from my last video, the purple one, because I have 4 of these, Bambootiful and Basil, and I just really love the style of that sweater. I did want to potentially adjust the sleeve slightly and not have quite as many increases, and maybe make it a row or 2 shorter up here because it did stretch out. And also, speaking of stretching out, the neckline was originally like here, but it's stretched out to be a bit more like there. So FYI, if you ever make that pattern and use the same yarn that I do, I mean any yarn, but this one is like very drapey, so definitely this one will just stretch out a bit. Let's see. And if I still have it, well, and I might work on the checkered tank top, but I also might just be taking a bit of a break from that. There's a chance I'm just going to figure out how to do checkers without running the yarn underneath or cutting it, and then I may potentially frog the whole thing. I don't know. I'm almost done with the first comb of each one. You can kind of start, maybe you can't, but I can kind of see a little bit of the cardboard peeking through, so we'll see what I decide with that. Anyways, I'm gonna get started. I'm only going to be doing my stopwatch while I'm actually crocheting. And unfortunately, since I film on my phone, you won't be able to see the stopwatch as much. I'll probably take screenshots whenever I stop it before I give you an update. It's because I film on my phone, so I can't really, you know, film my phone while filming on my phone. I mean, I guess I could do a screen share, but then you can't see much else. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna work on the blanket a little bit more. I might even just work on the blanket all day today, who knows. Alright, so I have officially been crocheting on this blanket for 5 hours today. My stopwatch is at 5 hours and 29 seconds. This is my progress. As you can see, it is growing a good bit. Technically, all I did today was this color section right here up to this bit of white. But it's definitely growing very nicely. And I just, this is my second skein. It's about half gone, and then I have a little bit left of the first skein. And then I have one full skein of the colorful one left, and probably about half or a bit less than half of the second one. So we're just gonna see how big it makes this blanket. I'm at currently, how many repeats is this? Let's see, so if we got that, so this makes, okay, so this is 5 repeats. Oh my gosh, just look at the colors, they're so pretty. I love this color combination. I didn't even originally buy this yarn to make a blanket. I'm just trying to get it out of my stash. I think I was gonna make a sweater, but I just want to get this out of my stash, and honestly, I really wanted to make a blanket too, but just look at the color combo. Anyways, oh yeah, so currently it's at 5 repeats, which I think is a baby blanket size, according to the pattern. I mean, I'm not following gauge or anything, so at least I know it's right about there. I'm just gonna keep going till I run out of yarn. My hand is getting a little bit tired of crocheting. It doesn't really hurt. It's mainly my pinky just gets a bit annoyed at me for the way that I hold my hook, because I hold it and then it's like my pinky just wraps around it, and I don't know, I guess it just doesn't like that for 5 hours in one day. Yeah, so I don't know, I might crochet a little bit more tonight. What I really need to do is work on editing some of my videos. Yeah, probably gonna go ahead and work on that a bit, because officially for this one I start the single crochet part, and that takes a minute. Who knows, maybe I'll be proactive and weave in the ends tonight. Granted, since I'm making the color changes like chunkier, you know, that should help. Well, it does help. It means I don't have as many ends to weave in. Also, I'm still bothered by this thing slightly bumping out, but whenever I lay it flat, it's all smooth and everything. It's just whenever I hold it up that it comes out. So update, I'm at about 16 hours and 45 minutes done. And I did, my stopwatch got messed up at some point. It was one of the days I was at work, so I had to restart it. So I had like 14 hours, 15 minutes on it, working on the blanket, all on the blanket, and then it got messed up. So I started another one, and I just made a note, and I'm at 2 hours and 36 minutes on the second one. So it's actually more like 16 hours, 50 minutes. Anyways, I finished the blanket. So I had the 14 hours, 15 minutes, and then I worked about another 53 minutes, I believe was what it said. And I have used up officially all of the yarn. So these are all the empty labels. I don't even have a scrap left of any of them. I used every last bit. This is the blanket so far. And I have not weaved in any of the ends. That is a future me problem. But I was thinking, I want it to be bigger. So whenever I'm done with getting rid of all that yarn on the shelf, I want to actually go back and buy some more of the angel colored yarn. And then it was, let's see, what was it called again? Woodland Elderberry for this one. And I just want to keep growing it to be a little bit bigger. You know, just a bit, you know. Actually, I want it to be a lot bigger, but I don't know if I have the patience to make it, you know, like a full size blanket that's like as tall as me, which would be amazing. But it's taken, let's see, so doing that, so about a little over 15 hours since I started filming, working on this, and then there was probably about an hour to, well, hour and a half to 2 hours, I would think, before, just working on the very center portion. Maybe not quite 2 hours, maybe more like hour and a half. So yeah, it just takes forever as you get bigger, which, you know, makes sense. So anyway, so I've gotten that far. I will be tucking this away in my kind of whips area because I do want to continue it. It's so pretty, and it's very cozy too. Then I ended up starting that green sweater I'd been talking about. Let me make sure. I left a really long tail this time for the bottom of the panel because I wanted to be able to sew with it, unlike last time, and then have less ends to weave in. So this is it. It's a very pretty color. I like this green. And I've worked on that for, you know, whatever the rest of the time was. So yeah, that's just kind of like my little update. It's been a few days actually. I think I last updated, let's see if I started this. Today's Tuesday. I didn't crochet anything yesterday, and then between Thursday and Sunday, I was pretty much just crocheting the blanket. Well, Thursday through Saturday, I was crocheting the blanket, and then I had finished it, I had finished it, so Sunday I started this in church because it was smaller. And I had made notes. I wrote down all my notes for how I did the other one, and I'm like, really hope it turns out the same. I had like a couple things I wanted to change about the sweater, like the sleeves, and I guess technically I could have made the panel a little bit shorter as well, and then maybe saved a little bit of yarn, but considering with the sleeves I plan on taking out a couple rows, I shouldn't have to worry about not having enough yarn because I'll be using a little bit less than I did earlier, and I'd still had just like, you know, just a smidgen left. So yeah, I'm just gonna be working on that sweater. There's a chance I will pick up another project because I've been watching, like I've been looking and seeing other people's tutorials and everything, and I really want to start something else as well. And I did have another note. If I can do not undo the stitches. There. Let's see, where is it? Here it is. Okay, yeah, that has enough tail. So this, I haven't touched it. I want to test out my theory. Like I have a couple different ideas for doing it to where I don't have to carry the yarn under, as you've heard me ramble on about, so I'm not gonna say anything more about that. But also, this one, since it was a bit tight around my chest area, and I wish I made it at least 2 more squares wider, I'm just kind of thinking about scrapping this whole thing because I don't want this to be, I want this to be loose fitting, and I don't want it to be tight in any like area. I want it to be like what would be about a couple inches of positive ease, I think is how it would be phrased. So I'm thinking of undoing all this hard work, but it'll be for the better to make something that I really like. It just means it'll take me longer to get through my stash because this is very thin. And what I could do technically is just like double up the yarn, but then I don't know if I'd have enough to make it through. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, what would be kind of cool is if I just double stranded it. Maybe you could do that, double strand the yellow and the blue. That's a thought. Anyways, I'm gonna go work on some projects, start my stopwatch again. So if I'm at the, okay, so I should have a little over 7 hours left. I think next time I do a 24-hour like timed challenge, I think I'm just gonna set a timer and pause that because the stopwatch, since it counts up, I don't know how much time is left. And since it got messed up, I don't know exactly when. I think like 9 hours and something, hitting that with a stopwatch was gonna be it. You know what, I think I'm just gonna I'm gonna quit rambling. I'm just gonna go crochet something. So after over a week of crocheting, I did finally finish the 24 hours. And then I decided not to film the end of it and to just keep crocheting. So basically for the sweater, I did finish both the front and the back panels. And then I got, let's see, about this much through the first sleeve, and then that's when I hit the 24 hours. But I decided just to keep crocheting because it wasn't the best time to film. The lighting wasn't super great, and then I was tired and didn't really want to film, you know, so I didn't film. So I finished the first sleeve, and then just today I finished the second sleeve. I also will just kind of explain real quick kind of how I did the sleeves. Let me just change the angle of the camera really fast though. So for this sleeve, I just made a chain. I looked at my arm to kind of figured where I would want it to kind of end, and then I made a chain that was like definitely an oversized fit for it. And then for I just did, let's see, I did double crochets all across the first row, and then the second row I made 5 increases. So I just kind of divvied up how many stitches were there and just made sure I had 5. And then I worked up until row 10, which I believe was this one. Yes, because there's an increase. And for row 10, I did 4 increases. And technically, I did do an increase on this bead stitch row because it ended. There wasn't an extra stitch to, you know, skip. So technically, I did do an increase there. Now, if I wanted to avoid that, I could have just done 6 increases down here or just a random increase somewhere in there, but honestly I decided just to do it the same as my other sleeve, which that's what happened. Then I just did regular rows up until here, and I did make it like a little bit shorter than my other sleeve, well, than the sleeves of my other sweater, because I felt like those were just like, I wouldn't have minded them being just a bit shorter, but they honestly are fine. So yeah, that's just kind of how I did the sleeves, in case anybody wanted to make them similar to mine. And this time I have, maybe not quite half a skein, maybe more like a third of a skein left. With these two combined, which is very interesting because last time I was very, very close. Like I hardly had any left, and this is like a good bit left. So yeah, I just don't know. I made the front and back panels the exact same. The sleeves are the only thing I did different, and I don't think I should have ended up with this much yarn left. But who knows, maybe I used more yarn than I thought I did. So yeah, this is what I have left. Yay! And for context, it is Sunday again, so it's been like 3 days since I finished the 24 hours, but yeah, I just didn't really feel like filming at the moment. So yeah, got that all finished. Now I just have to sew all these pieces together. I'm not really feeling up to sewing it right now though, because it took me absolutely forever to sew up the last one. A really long time, because I was trying so hard to make sure everything matched up perfectly. So I'm gonna wait on that. I will leave it. I'll probably do it the next day or two, because I want to finish it, but I'm not feeling up for it right now. So I'm probably going to be starting a new project, or I just might not crochet for the rest of the day. So anyways, I'm just going to go ahead and end this video here. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.